lately, I've been watching some of Kamala's rallies and things to try to get a feel for that, and it feels like it's really turned kind of ragey. In the last couple that I've watched, more angry, Hitler, Dictator, all of these types of things. And some people that I've talked to that are a little bit more undecided, even here, it's really turning them off. Like they don't want to even hear what the message might be because it just is not resonating. So I just want to know, is this kind of like a last ditch, throw everything, and see where we land? Because it just doesn't feel, hopeful and joyful.
Yeah. Okay. Shai, do you want to comment on that?
Just that it's typical, solidify the base towards the end of the campaign, and negativity seems to work in American politics. But
Yeah. Okay. Tell us what's on your mind, please.
so I was hoping to turn on sports radio this morning to just feel that joy of a big Eagles victory yesterday, and I was very upset. That whatever it's I heard a commercial that ended with, this was an official Trump commercial. Okay, it ended with, "I'm Donald Trump and I support this ad," and
Yeah.
it was the central part of the commercial was Kamala Harris's voice putting together sentences, like awful sentences, like about the trans issue. I won't even try to restate what they were. But
Yeah.
the thing that's so brilliant about Trump and so upsetting is that that thing that Kamala Harris said, it was not a deep fake. It was Harris's voice, and it was cut up using 1960s technology. Anybody listening with any kind of critical ear would know that it was like audibly choppy. Like no audio person would want to let that through. And the reason why I'm trying to explain why Democrats are so upset and why the mainstream media, for pro-democratic reasons, is, quote, on Harris's side. It's because what Trump does is he does this stuff in plain sight. Like it doesn't matter that Kamala Harris didn't say that, because what's important, we know in the woke Democratic heart that they hate Christian, heterosexual, white people. We know they're trying to destroy our culture and that they're haters. And so we know that's true. So the fact that it was a cut up commercial, it doesn't matter. And he can't be, people are worried about deep fakes. Again, he's doing it in plain sight. And that's what gets Democrats so scared. We feel like we're trumped, literally, because I don't have any hate in my heart. I don't have any hate against Christians or white people or poor people, or I don't have people who want to live promote heterosexual values or Christian values. I don't have any problem with that. We're just concerned about people on the margin, and we want to understand their experiences and not make their lives terrible. It's sad for me that Democrats have such a hard time explaining why we support trans rights. That's painful to me, that in our media environment, or they're not confident enough to be able to explain why it's a good thing to help people on the margins. That makes me sad. But that explains why the mainstream media is so, quote, all in for Harris, because Trump is post-truth, really. It does that.
Okay.
He's,
Yep. Thank you for that. I'd like Margaret to comment if she'd like on what Shai just said, and then turn it over to Sean.
Well, so a couple things. I'll go work with what you just said and then work back. The trans thing, I think that even most like Republicans or conservatives like myself have no issue with trans people, especially when they're over the age of 18. I think where people have a huge problem, in me specifically, is the children. Because there are studies that show that most kids left alone and go through puberty come out the other side and they're okay. Some of them end up being gay or whatever, but they're okay. I think we have a problem with, cross hormones and things that affect the bodies of children as they grow up. So I think that's one thing, but there's no hate there. It's just a protection of innocent children that their brains aren't even fully formed. And then two, I find it a little bit rich that, we're upset about a commercial that's been supposedly cut when they take snippets of what Trump said without any context and they put it all over, the news, ads, whatever. They call him Hitler. He's going to be a dictator on day one. You're never going to have to vote again, when he was talking to a group of Christians that have a low propensity to vote. And he was trying to encourage them to go out and vote.
Huh.
So
Yep.
I just
Yep.
have some.
That, yeah, Margaret, I just want to follow with Shai on that one, just because it's right on point. Shai, do you know that Donald Trump was joking when he said dictator for a day?
I think that I don't agree with Harris calling him a fascist. I think he's a Orban-like.
Well, no, but on the specific point, and I'm impressed with Margaret's recitation of the best examples. Just, do you understand that the Democrats do the same thing? They take stuff out of context, put it in ads, they put it in their speeches. In other words, you were saying what really bothers you about this is it's a complete distortion of what she actually said, and that's why the media was right in siding with Trump. And what Margaret's pointing out is some of the key talking points of the Democratic campaign are based on things that Trump didn't say.
It's troubling that it's so hard for I don't support anybody taking stuff out of context.
All right. So let's go to Sean. Sean.
So I will associate myself with the comments of the gentlelady from Fort Worth. I think Margaret made some great points, and I don't want to duplicate them. The one thing that I will add to her points are that there is also a concern, I think, for those of us on the right, especially those with daughters, that women have fought for rights to have equality and access to different things, and suddenly you have people going in and taking those rights away. The thing about the points that you're making, Shai, is you have a very specific point of view. I respect that. I disagree with it. But this is the point of what's happening right now in our politics, is that we view things from a different set of priorities. I think, again, I don't think that anyone's got hate for an individual class of people, but I think that we look at how we're protecting children and we're giving women access is something that we think is important. So I'll leave it at that. And great comments by Margaret.
All I'd say about that before I turn over to Dan is Donald Trump at his rallies shows a video about trans people that is not about children. It's making fun of adults. So I don't think you can. I know the children point is an important one. The mocking and the derision is not limited to children. It's also extended to adults at his rallies as a source of amusement. So,
Can
yes,
I
Margaret.
directly comment back to you, Mark?
Yeah.
I think I understand what you're saying, but that goes to Sean's point about women's spaces. I'm a woman, my daughter, she's 13. It's the fact that we have some grown men who do like to go into those spaces, and it's not a safe place. So I'm not sure. I haven't seen the video, but I understand what you're saying.
It's got nothing to do with restrooms. It's just mocking their lifestyle, their choice of how to live their lives, I should say.
And I don't think that's kind, and I want to be clear about that.
Okay,
but I do
good.
agree with Sean on the points of it.
Yeah. Dan.
Well, I think both parties exaggerate, take stuff out of context. I know here we started the show talking about a comedian, and we're going to try to pin this as it speaks to kind of Trump and his character, but it's a little stretch, right? Trump didn't get up there and make those jokes, and this is what happens in politics. And I think on the trans issue, I said this last week. It is a complicated issue. I mean, I think most Americans are where Margaret is, but their Democrats have not wanted to recognize the complications with this issue. And Harris doesn't really want to speak up if she believes in certain things. She doesn't want to say it, right? And that is creating a problem. But, we have two kids at an all-boys school on the Upper East Side in which a young man announced he was a woman. And the school is like, oh my goodness, how do we handle this? And all the parents did too, right? There's bathrooms changing for PE class. What do you do about having kids over and leaving them alone? Nobody knows the right answers, but society is trying to work through these things. And I think, as Democrats, when you think about where we were in 2020 and where things are today, there's been a shift. And Harris is trying to kind of not talk about it. And that's her problem.
Margaret, 3 words or fewer. How will you feel if Kamala Harris wins?
I will feel a little nervous, but hopeful. And
Thank you.
we'll
Shai,
see
how
what
will you feel?
happens.
3 words or fewer. How will you feel if Trump wins?
Well, I've been making a long list of everything that I won't lose in my life if Donald Trump wins, and to prepare myself psychologically.
Bravo. That's a great idea.